What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Well, look at this nice and beautiful Olympiad question we have on the board that we're going to be solving. And the question says, find the real values of a plus b for which a squared minus b squared is equal to 4 and ab is equal to 2. Remember that I said find the real values of a plus b. That goes to show that a and b are real numbers. So let's go ahead and solve this question. Well, my first step will be to call this equation 1 and I'll call this equation 2. So now let's focus on equation 1. Then I'll say from equation 1, I'm going to be moving negative b squared to the right hand side. And when I do that, I'll be having a squared remaining on the left equal to, as negative b squared crosses to the right, it becomes positive b squared. And now remember, I've already got plus 4 on the right, so I'm going to be including that plus 4. So you notice that I have moved negative b squared to the right, which is what I have here. And now let's call this equation 3. This time, let's focus on equation 2. So I'm going to say from equation 2, I'm going to be taking the square of both sides. That means I'll be squaring the left hand side and I'll also square the right hand side. And when I square the left, remember this square is affecting the a and is also affecting the b. So I'm going to be having a squared b squared equal to, now 2 squared is going to give me 4. Now I've already got equation 3, so I'm going to be calling this equation 4. Now I'll be solving equation 3 and 4 simultaneously. Now I'll be substituting, so I'll substitute equation 3 in equation 4. So let's go ahead and do that. Now I have a squared to be equal to b squared plus 4, which I'm going to be putting here wherever I see a squared. So look at a squared here. So I'm going to be substituting b squared plus 4. I'll be substituting that for a squared. Now I have b squared, so times b squared equal to 4. Now let's go ahead and open up this bracket. When I do that, b squared times b squared is going to give me b squared raised to the power of 2 plus, now 4 times b squared, I'm going to be having 4b squared equal to 4. Now our next step will be for us to move this 4 to the left hand side. Let's go ahead and do that. I have b squared raised to the power of 2 plus 4b squared. Now as 4 crosses to the left, it becomes minus 4 equal to 0. Now notice that I have a quadratic equation of b squared. Now let's go ahead and solve this quadratic equation. Well, I'm going to be using the general formula to solve this quadratic equation. And the general formula we're going to be using is b squared equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Now notice this b is different from this. This is just the general formula we're going to be using. So this b is actually different. Let's go ahead and bring this out. Okay, so now let's go ahead and substitute. So we have b squared equal to negative b. B is a coefficient of this b squared here, which is 4. So I'm going to be putting 4 plus or minus the square root of b squared. That's the coefficient of this b we have here, b squared here, which is 4. So 4, according to the formula, we have squared minus 4 times a. A is a coefficient of this one we have here, which is 1, times c. C is a constant term, which is negative 4, all over 2 times a. That's 2 times a. A is what? 1. So b squared will be equal to negative 4 plus or minus the square root of, now 4 squared, that's 16. Now minus times minus, I'm going to be having plus 4 times 1 times 4, that's also 16. So all over 2 times 1, that's 2. So b squared will be equal to negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 16 plus 16, I'm going to be having 32 all over 2. Now let's simplify this radical. So b squared will be equal to negative 4 plus or minus. Now the square root of 32 can be written as 16 times 2 all over 2. So b squared will be equal to negative 4 plus or minus. Now there is actually a square root of 16 because 16 is a perfect square. So the square root of 16 is 4. Now root 2 all over 2. Very good. So you notice that 4 is common. I can go ahead and factor out 4 so that I have b squared to be equal to 4 times. Now what is going to be remaining here? Negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 2 all over 2. Now 2 here 1, 2 here, I'm going to be having 2. So let's go ahead and use this 2 to open up the brackets. We're going to be having b squared to be equal to, now 2 times negative 1, I'm going to be having negative 2 plus or minus 2 times the square root of 2, I'm going to be having 2 root 2. So this is our b squared. Now remember that we said a squared is equal to b squared plus 4, right? Let me show you real quick. Here it is. That's our equation 3. A squared is equal to b squared plus 4. So let's continue. Alright, so in order for us to get our a squared, we'll say a squared will be equal to b squared. And what is our b squared? We have it to be negative 2 plus or minus 2 root 2. Now plus 4. Now this is negative 2 plus 4. Negative 2 plus 4 is going to give us 2. So a squared will be equal to 2 plus or minus 2 root 2. So I've got a squared and I've also got b squared. So now let's go ahead and sum them up. So therefore a squared plus b squared will be equal to, remember, a squared is 2 plus or minus 2 root 2 plus b squared is negative 2 plus or minus 2 root 2. Now on removing the bracket, I'll be having 2 plus or minus 2 root 2. Now plus times minus is going to give us minus 2. I'll leave this just the way it is. Plus or minus 2 root 2. Now notice that 2 minus 2 will be gone. So this will be equal to plus or minus 2 root 2 plus or minus 2 root 2 is going to give us plus or minus 4 root 2. So this is the value we got from a squared plus b squared. Now remember the question says find the value of a plus b. So how do we find the value of a plus b? In order to do that, I'll be introducing a plus b raised to the power of 2. I'm going to be getting a plus b from here. Let's go ahead and expand this. So this gives a squared plus b squared plus 2ab. So the expansion of this gives this. So this becomes a plus b raised to the power of 2 to be equal to a squared plus b squared. We've already got that to be this, which is plus or minus 4 root 2 plus 2 times ab. AB is given to us in the question to be equal to 2. So simplifying, we're going to be having plus or minus 4 root 2 plus 4. Now notice that 4 is common. So we can go ahead and factor out 4 so that we have 4 times, we have plus or minus the square root of 2 plus 1. And this is our a plus b raised to power 2. Remember we said we are in need of a plus b. So let's go ahead and get rid of this square. And how do we do that? It is simply by taking the square root of both sides. So I'm going to be taking the square root of the left hand side. I'll also take the square root of the right hand side. But I'll remember to always put plus or minus. Now notice that the square root and the square will cancel off, leaving behind a plus b to be equal to plus or minus. Now the square root of 4 is 2. Now I'm going to be writing this just the way it is. That's the square root of plus or minus the square root of 2 plus 1. Now let me separate what I have inside of this radical. So a plus b is equal to plus or minus 2 times the square root of, now going with the plus, I'll be having square root of 2 plus 1, or a plus b is equal to plus or minus 2 now times the square root of, now this time around I'm going to be going with the negative, which is negative root 2 plus 1. Remember what we said. The question says find the real values of a plus b. And if you notice, this is not a real value because I'm going to be having negative here. The square root of 2 is actually larger than 1. So if it is carrying a negative here, so it means that 1 is larger than this. So I'm going to be having a complex solution here. So there's no real solution here. No real solution. But on our first case, this is our real solution, which the question asks us to look for. Remember, there are two answers here. Plus or minus 2, the square root of 2 plus 1. Well, feel free to share your ideas in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video and have learned something from this video, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss my upcoming videos. And like I always say, until next time, take care.